In a cozy little town nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, there lived two best friends named Lily and Tom. Lily had golden curls that danced in the sunlight, while Tom had twinkling blue eyes that sparkled with mischief. Together, they explored the wonders of their world, hand in hand. One sunny morning, as they skipped through the meadow, Lily spotted something shining amidst the grass. "Look, Tom," she exclaimed, bending down to pick up a radiant sunbeam trapped in a glass jar. Tom's eyes widened with wonder. "It's so beautiful," he whispered, reaching out to touch the warm glow. From that day on, Lily and Tom carried the jar of sunshine with them wherever they went. They shared its light with their friends, casting rainbows across the sky and bringing warmth to even the coldest days. But as time passed, the jar began to grow dim. Its once bright glow faded to a soft shimmer, and Lily and Tom worried that their precious sunshine might disappear forever. "We must find a way to share our sunshine," said Lily, her brow furrowed with concern. "But how?" Tom pondered for a moment before his face lit up with a brilliant idea. "I know," he exclaimed. "We can plant seeds of kindness and watch them bloom into rays of sunshine for everyone to enjoy." With renewed hope, Lily and Tom set out to spread kindness throughout their town. They helped their neighbors tend to their gardens, shared smiles with strangers passing by, and offered hugs to those in need. And as they did, something magical began to happen. The town blossomed with laughter and love, and the once dim jar of sunshine grew brighter than ever before. "We did it!" cried Lily, her eyes shining with joy. Tom grinned and squeezed her hand. "Together, we can make the world a brighter place." From that day on, Lily and Tom continued to share their sunshine with everyone they met. And though the jar may have been small, its light shone far and wide, illuminating the hearts of all who basked in its glow. And so, in a cozy little town nestled between rolling hills and sparkling streams, two best friends showed the world that a little kindness can go a long way in sharing sunshine. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there stood a magnificent tree known as the kindness tree. Its branches stretched wide, and its leaves shimmered with colors of compassion. Animals of all shapes and sizes gathered around the tree, drawn by its warmth and love. One sunny morning, a little squirrel named Sammy scurried up to the kindness tree, his tiny paws filled with acorns. "Hello, kindness tree," he chirped. "I've brought you some acorns." The kindness tree smiled and gently rustled its leaves. "Thank you, Sammy," it whispered. "Your gift is appreciated." Sammy felt a warm glow in his heart as he watched the kindness tree accept his offering. He knew that the tree would share his acorns with those in need. As the day went on, more animals came to visit the kindness tree. A family of rabbits brought fresh carrots, while a group of birds sang sweet songs from its branches. Each gift was met with gratitude and kindness, and the tree's love only grew stronger. But one day, a storm swept through the forest, leaving the kindness tree battered and broken. Its branches were torn, and its leaves lay scattered on the ground. The animals gathered around, their hearts heavy with sadness. "We must help the kindness tree," said Sammy, his voice filled with determination, "just as it has helped us." The animals worked together, gathering branches and leaves, and carefully tending to the wounded tree. They watered its roots with love and whispered words of encouragement. Weeks passed, and slowly but surely, the kindness tree began to heal. Its branches grew stronger, and new leaves began to bloom. The forest was filled with joy as the animals rejoiced in the tree's recovery. "Thank you, my dear friends," said the kindness tree, its voice filled with gratitude. "Your kindness has saved me." From that day on, the animals continued to gather around the kindness tree, sharing their gifts and spreading love throughout the forest. And though storms may come and go, the bonds of friendship and kindness would always remain strong. And so, the kindness tree stood tall, a beacon of love and compassion for all who passed by. And in the hearts of the animals, its spirit would live on forever. In the heart of a lush forest, nestled between tall trees and fragrant flowers, there lay a magical place known as Empathy Pond. Its waters shimmered with hues of blue and green, reflecting the beauty of the world around it. One sunny morning, a little duck named Daisy waddled up to the edge of Empathy Pond, her feathers ruffled with worry. She had lost her favorite feather, a gift from her mother, and she didn't know where to find it. As Daisy gazed into the pond's tranquil waters, she saw something surprising. Her reflection shimmered back at her, but it wasn't alone. Beside her stood a gentle deer named Danny, his eyes filled with compassion. "Hello, Daisy," said Danny softly. "I see that you're feeling sad. Is there anything I can do to help?" Daisy blinked in surprise, touched by Danny's kindness. "I lost my favorite feather," she confessed. "It was a gift from my mother, and now I don't know where to find it." Danny nodded understandingly. "I may not have wings to fly, but I can help you search," he offered. "Together, we'll find your feather." And so, Daisy and Danny set out on a journey around Empathy Pond, searching high and low for the lost feather. They checked beneath bushes, behind rocks, and even in the branches of tall trees, but there was no sign of it anywhere. As they searched, Daisy couldn't help but feel grateful for Danny's kindness. He may not have been able to fly like her, but his willingness to help meant more to her than he could ever know. Finally, just as they were about to give up hope, Daisy spotted a glimmer of gold nestled among the reeds by the water's edge. With a joyful quack, she reached out and plucked her feather from the ground, her heart soaring with happiness. "I found it," she exclaimed, her eyes shining with gratitude. Danny smiled warmly. "I'm glad I could help," he said. "Remember, Daisy, true friendship is about being there for each other, no matter what." And as they made their way back to Empathy Pond, Daisy knew that she would always treasure the bond she shared with Danny, for it was a reflection of the love and kindness that flowed through the magical waters of Empathy Pond. In a bustling little town filled with laughter and love, there lived a curious rabbit named Cooper. With floppy ears and a twitching nose, he hopped through life with boundless energy and a heart full of dreams. One sunny day, as Cooper bounded through the meadow, he noticed something peculiar. The other animals were gathered around a tree, their faces filled with worry. "What's wrong?" asked Cooper, his nose twitching with concern. "We're running out of space to store our food for the winter," explained Olivia, a wise old owl. "If we don't find a solution soon, we'll go hungry." Cooper's ears perked up with excitement. "I have an idea," he exclaimed. "What if we build a big storage shed where we can keep all our food safe and sound?" The other animals looked at each other, their eyes wide with surprise. "But how will we build it?" asked Benny, a strong bear with a heart of gold. Cooper grinned. "We'll work together," he declared. "With teamwork and determination, anything is possible." And so, the animals set to work, gathering materials and putting Cooper's big idea into action. They chopped wood, hammered nails, and painted walls until, at last, their storage shed stood tall and proud against the setting sun. As winter approached, the animals filled the shed with food, grateful for Cooper's ingenuity and the bonds of friendship that had brought them together. But just as they were about to celebrate their success, a fierce storm swept through the meadow, threatening to tear their precious shed apart. "We must protect our food," cried Cooper, his ears drooping with worry. Without hesitation, the animals banded together, bracing against the wind and holding the shed steady with all their might. And though the storm raged on, they refused to let go, their friendship giving them strength. Hours passed, and finally, the storm began to subside. The animals breathed a sigh of relief as they looked around at the damage. Their shed was battered and bruised, but still standing strong thanks to their unwavering determination. "We did it!" cheered Cooper, his heart swelling with pride. And as the sun rose on a new day, the animals knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they would always find a way to overcome them together. For in a bustling little town filled with laughter and love, Cooper's big idea had taught them that friendship truly is the greatest treasure of all. In a vast ocean, far away from the bustling shores of human civilization, there lay a mystical island known as Inclusion Island. It was a place where creatures of all shapes, sizes, and colors lived together in harmony, embracing their differences and celebrating their similarities. One sunny day, a curious dolphin named Denny swam up to the shores of Inclusion Island, his fins tingling with excitement. He had heard tales of the island's beauty and the warmth of its inhabitants, and he longed to experience it for himself. As Denny explored the island, he marveled at the sights and sounds around him. Birds of every hue sang sweet melodies from the trees, while colorful fish darted through the crystal-clear waters of the lagoon. Everywhere he looked, Denny saw creatures of all kinds living and playing together in perfect harmony. But as Denny swam deeper into the heart of Inclusion Island, he noticed something peculiar. A group of seahorses huddled together in a secluded corner of the lagoon, their faces filled with sadness. "What's wrong?" asked Denny, his voice gentle with concern. The leader of the seahorses, a wise old creature named Sebastian, sighed heavily. "We feel like outsiders here on Inclusion Island," he admitted. "Our colors are duller, and our fins are shorter than those of the other creatures. We fear we don't belong." Denny's heart ached at the sight of his new friend's pain. He knew that true friendship meant accepting others for who they were, no matter their differences. We may look different on the outside, but on the inside, we're all the same, said Denny, his voice firm with conviction. We're all creatures of Inclusion Island, and together, we can overcome any obstacle. With Denny's encouragement, the seahorses began to venture out of their hiding place, joining the other creatures of Inclusion Island in their daily activities. They danced with the dolphins, soared with the birds, and laughed with the fish, their hearts filled with joy and acceptance. And as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, the bonds of friendship grew stronger on Inclusion Island. No longer did the seahorses feel like outsiders. They were valued members of the island community, cherished for the unique gifts they brought to the table. And so, in the heart of the vast ocean, Inclusion Island stood as a shining example of friendship and acceptance. We can truly create a world where everyone belongs. In a cozy little village tucked away in the rolling hills, there was a special place called Compassion Corner. It was a small patch of grass where the sun always seemed to shine a little brighter and the flowers bloomed a little sweeter. One day, a young rabbit named Rosie hopped over to Compassion Corner with a heavy heart. She had heard that her friend, Tommy the turtle, was feeling sad because he couldn't keep up with the other animals when they played games. As Rosie sat in Compassion Corner, pondering how to help her friend, she noticed a gentle breeze rustling the leaves of a nearby tree. It whispered to her, "True friendship is about understanding and compassion." With those words in mind, Rosie set off to find Tommy. She found him sitting by the edge of the pond, his shell drooping with sadness. "Hello, Tommy," said Rosie softly, sitting down beside him. "I heard you're feeling down. Is there anything I can do to help?" Tommy looked up, surprised to see Rosie there. "Oh, Rosie, I just wish I could join in the games with the other animals," he sighed. "But I'm so slow, and my shell makes it hard for me to keep up." Rosie nodded sympathetically. "I understand, Tommy. But you know what? Each of us has our own strengths and weaknesses, and that's what makes us special." Suddenly, an idea popped into Rosie's head. How about we create a game that everyone can play, regardless of speed or shell size? Tommy's eyes lit up with excitement. "That sounds amazing, Rosie. But what kind of game could we play?" Rosie grinned mischievously. "I have just the idea. Follow me." Together, Rosie and Tommy gathered the other animals of the village and explained their plan. They would have a race, but instead of running, they would take turns rolling a ball to the finish line. That way, everyone could participate, regardless of their abilities. As the race began, laughter filled the air as the animals cheered each other on. And when they reached the finish line, they all celebrated together, knowing that true friendship and compassion had triumphed. From that day on, Compassion Corner became a place where animals of all kinds came together to support and uplift each other. And Rosie and Tommy's friendship grew stronger, fueled by their shared understanding and compassion for one another. In a bustling forest filled with towering trees and chirping birds, there lived two inseparable friends named Lily, the rabbit, and Milo, the squirrel. They did everything together, from exploring hidden trails to sharing secrets under the moonlight. One sunny morning, as Lily and Milo were gathering berries near the edge of the forest, they stumbled upon a tiny bird struggling to build a nest. "Oh dear," said Lily, her ears drooping with concern. "It looks like this little bird needs our help." Milo nodded in agreement. "Let's lend a hand," he chirped, scampering up a nearby tree to collect twigs and leaves for the nest. Together, Lily and Milo worked tirelessly, weaving the twigs into a cozy nest for their feathered friend. And when they were done, the bird chirped happily, snuggling into its new home with a grateful smile. From that day on, the bird, named Bella, became a part of Lily and Milo's adventures. She flew ahead, scouting for new trails and warning them of any dangers lurking nearby. But one stormy night, as Lily and Milo were fast asleep in their burrow, a fierce gust of wind tore through the forest, uprooting trees and scattering debris in its wake. When Lily and Milo woke up the next morning, they were horrified to find their burrow destroyed, their home reduced to a pile of rubble. "Oh no," whispered Lily, tears welling up in her eyes. "What are we going to do?" Milo's heart sank as he looked around at the devastation. But then he remembered something important. "We still have each other, Lily," he said, his voice filled with determination. "And that's all that matters." With Milo's encouragement, Lily and Milo set out to rebuild their home, gathering branches and leaves to construct a new burrow. And though it was hard work, they knew they could overcome any obstacle as long as they had each other by their side. As the days turned into weeks, Lily and Milo's bond grew stronger than ever. They laughed and played together, their friendship a beacon of hope in the midst of adversity. And when their new burrow was finally complete, they knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they would always be loyal friends forever. For in the end, it was their love and loyalty that truly made them rich beyond measure. In a vibrant forest filled with towering trees and colorful flowers, there stood two special trees named Timmy and Tina. They were known throughout the forest for their strength, wisdom, and most importantly, their unwavering friendship. One sunny morning, as Timmy and Tina swayed gently in the breeze, they noticed something peculiar. A group of animals was gathered around them, their faces filled with worry. "What's wrong, friends?" asked Timmy, his branches rustling with concern. "We're trying to build a new home for our friend, Sammy the squirrel, but we can't reach the highest branches," explained Emily, the elephant, her trunk hanging low with disappointment. Timmy and Tina exchanged a knowing glance. "Don't worry, we're here to help," said Tina, her leaves shimmering with determination. "Together, we can accomplish anything." And so, the animals and the trees worked together, using their strengths to overcome any obstacles that came their way. Timmy and Tina lifted heavy branches with their sturdy trunks, while the animals scurried up and down, gathering materials and hammering nails. As the sun began to set, the animals stepped back to admire their handiwork. High above the forest floor, nestled among the branches of Timmy and Tina, stood Sammy's new home, a cozy nest made from leaves and twigs, with a breathtaking view of the forest below. "Thank you, Timmy and Tina," said Sammy, his eyes shining with gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you." Timmy and Tina nodded, their branches swaying in the wind. "It was our pleasure, Sammy," they replied. "True friendship means helping each other in times of need." From that day on, Timmy and Tina's treehouse became a gathering place for all the animals of the forest. They laughed and played together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. And as they watched the sunset from the branches of their beloved trees, they knew that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any challenge that came their way. For together, they were not just trees, but a shining example of the power of teamwork and friendship. In a charming town nestled between rolling hills and babbling brooks, there was a delightful street known as Acceptance Avenue. It was a place where creatures of all shapes, sizes, and colors lived together in peace and harmony, embracing each other's differences and celebrating their similarities. One sunny morning, a little bunny named Bella hopped down Acceptance Avenue, her ears perked up with excitement. She had heard that a new family was moving in, and she couldn't wait to welcome them to the neighborhood. As Bella rounded the corner, she saw a group of animals gathered around a cozy burrow, their faces filled with curiosity. Among them was a family of hedgehogs, their quills bristling nervously as they peeked out from behind their door. "Welcome to Acceptance Avenue," chirped Bella, her voice warm with kindness. "We're so happy to have you here." The hedgehog family looked at Bella with wide eyes, surprised by her friendly greeting. "Thank you," said Mrs. Hedgehog, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "We were worried that we wouldn't fit in because we're a little different from the other animals." Bella smiled reassuringly. "Oh, don't worry about that," she said. "Here on Acceptance Avenue, we celebrate diversity and welcome everyone with open arms." With Bella's encouragement, the hedgehog family ventured out of their burrow and began to explore their new surroundings. They met the other animals of Acceptance Avenue, from the chatty squirrels to the playful chipmunks, and soon they felt right at home. But as the days passed, Bella noticed something troubling. The other animals seemed hesitant to interact with the hedgehogs, their smiles forced and their conversations awkward. Determined to make a difference, Bella gathered her friends and organized a neighborhood picnic on Acceptance Avenue. Everyone brought their favorite foods to share, from juicy berries to crunchy carrots, and they gathered around a big oak tree to enjoy each other's company. As the afternoon sun dipped below the horizon, Bella stood up and addressed the crowd. "I want to thank each and every one of you for coming together today," she said, her voice ringing out with sincerity. "On Acceptance Avenue, we may be different, but we are all part of the same community. Let's embrace our differences and celebrate our similarities, for that is what truly makes us special." The other animals nodded in agreement, their hearts filled with gratitude for Bella's wise words. From that day on, Acceptance Avenue became an even more welcoming place, where creatures of all kinds lived together in harmony, united by the bonds of friendship and acceptance. And Bella, with her kind heart and unwavering compassion, was hailed as a hero of Acceptance Avenue, a shining example of the power of acceptance and inclusion. In a quaint village nestled among rolling hills and whispering trees, there lay a winding path known as trusty trails. It was a path that led to adventure and discovery, a path where creatures of all kinds came together to explore the wonders of their world. One sunny morning, a curious fox named Felix set out on trusty trails, his tail wagging with excitement. He had heard tales of hidden treasures and magical creatures that lurked along the path, and he couldn't wait to see them for himself. As Felix trotted along trusty trails, he met a timid rabbit named Rosie, who was hesitantly making her way down the path. "Hello there," said Felix, his voice gentle with kindness. "Are you exploring trusty trails too?" Rosie nodded shyly. "Yes, but I'm a little scared," she admitted. "I've never been on an adventure like this before." Felix smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry, Rosie. I'll be right here beside you every step of the way. Together, we can overcome any obstacle that comes our way." With Felix's encouragement, Rosie's fear began to melt away, and soon they were laughing and playing together as they ventured deeper into the heart of trusty trails. But as they rounded a bend in the path, they came across a fallen tree blocking their way. Rosie's ears drooped with worry, and she looked to Felix for guidance. Felix surveyed the obstacle before them, his mind racing with ideas. "I have an idea," he said at last. "If we work together, we can move the tree and clear the path for everyone." And so, Felix and Rosie put their heads together and devised a plan. Felix used his strength to push the tree from one side, while Rosie dug her paws into the ground and pushed from the other side. With each push and shove, the tree slowly began to move, until at last it toppled to the ground with a soft thud. Felix and Rosie cheered triumphantly, their hearts swelling with pride. As they continued along trusty trails, Felix and Rosie encountered many more obstacles, from rushing rivers to steep cliffs. But with trust and teamwork, they overcame each challenge, growing closer with every step they took. And when they finally reached the end of trusty trails, they knew that their friendship was stronger than ever. For on trusty trails, they had learned that with trust and teamwork, anything was possible, and that true friendship could conquer even the greatest of obstacles. In a gentle valley surrounded by rolling hills and sparkling streams, there stood a hill known as Helping Hands Hill. It was a place where creatures of all kinds came together to lend a helping hand and spread kindness throughout the land. One sunny day, a little mouse named Mia found herself lost in the valley. She scurried along the winding paths, her tiny heart pounding with fear, until she stumbled upon Helping Hands Hill. As Mia climbed to the top of the hill, she saw animals of all shapes and sizes working together, building shelters and gathering food for those in need. She watched in awe as they laughed and played, their hearts full of joy and compassion. Just then, Mia heard a soft whimper coming from behind a nearby bush. Curious, she peeked around the corner and saw a young rabbit named Robbie, his leg caught in a tangle of brambles. Without hesitation, Mia scampered over to Robbie's side and began to nibble away at the thorns, careful not to hurt him. With each nibble, Robbie's leg became freer, until at last he was able to hop out of the brambles with a grateful sigh of relief. "Thank you, Mia," said Robbie, his eyes shining with gratitude. "You saved me." Mia smiled shyly. "It was nothing," she said. "Here on Helping Hands Hill, we all help each other whenever we can." Together, Mia and Robbie made their way to the top of the hill, where they joined the other animals in their work. They gathered berries for the birds, built nests for the squirrels, and planted flowers for the bees, their hearts filled with the warmth of friendship and camaraderie. As the sun began to set over Helping Hands Hill, Mia looked around at her new friends, her heart swelling with pride. In this magical place, she had learned that no act of kindness was ever too small, and that by working together, they could make the world a better place for everyone. And as she bid farewell to Helping Hands Hill and its wonderful inhabitants, Mia knew that she would carry the lessons of friendship and compassion with her wherever she went. For in the end, it was the helping hands of friends that truly made life's journey worthwhile. In a picturesque valley nestled between majestic mountains and lush meadows, there lay a tranquil place called Understanding Valley. It was a place where animals of all kinds came together to learn from each other and celebrate their differences. One bright morning, a curious bear named Benny ventured into Understanding Valley, his nose twitching with excitement. He had heard whispers of the valley's wonders and was eager to explore its mysteries. As Benny wandered deeper into Understanding Valley, he came across a group of animals gathered around a circle of stones, their faces filled with concentration. At the center of the circle sat a wise owl named Oliver, his eyes shining with knowledge. "Welcome, young one," said Oliver, his voice echoing through the valley. "I am Oliver, the keeper of Understanding Valley. What brings you here today?" Benny stepped forward, his curiosity piqued. "I've heard tales of this valley's wisdom and understanding," he explained. "I wish to learn from you and the other creatures who call this place home." Oliver nodded approvingly. "Very well, young Benny. Sit with us, and together we will explore the depths of Understanding Valley." And so, Benny joined the other animals in the circle, listening intently as Oliver shared stories of friendship, empathy, and acceptance. He learned about the importance of listening to others, even when they had different perspectives, and the power of kindness in bridging divides. But as the day wore on, Benny noticed something troubling. A young rabbit named Rosie seemed to be struggling to keep up with the others, her ears drooping with confusion as she tried to understand the lessons. Determined to help his new friend, Benny approached Rosie with a warm smile. "Don't worry, Rosie," he said gently. "I'm here to help you understand." With Benny's patient guidance, Rosie's confusion began to melt away, and soon she was laughing and learning alongside the other animals. As the sun began to set over Understanding Valley, Benny looked around at his newfound friends, his heart swelling with gratitude. In this valley of understanding, he had learned that true friendship meant helping each other grow and learn, no matter the obstacles they faced. And as he bid farewell to Understanding Valley and its wise inhabitants. Benny knew that he would carry the lessons of empathy, acceptance, and understanding with him wherever he went. For in the end, it was the bond of friendship that truly made life's journey worthwhile. In a galaxy far, far away, there twinkled a constellation of stars known as the supportive stars. Each night, these stars shone brightly in the sky, spreading warmth and light to all who gazed upon them. One evening, in a cozy little town nestled beneath the stars, there lived a young rabbit named Rosie. Rosie loved to gaze up at the night sky, marveling at the beauty of the stars above. But one night, as Rosie lay beneath her favorite tree, she noticed that one of the stars in the supportive stars constellation seemed to be fading. Its light flickered weakly, struggling to shine as brightly as the others. Concerned, Rosie decided to seek help from her friends in the forest. She gathered her courage and set out on a journey to find the wise owl, who is known for his knowledge of the stars. After a long search, Rosie finally found the wise owl perched atop a tall tree, his wise eyes gazing up at the night sky. "Wise owl," said Rosie, her voice filled with urgency. "One of the stars in the supportive stars constellation is fading. Can you help us?" The wise owl nodded gravely. "Follow me," he said, spreading his wings and taking flight into the night sky. Together, Rosie and the wise owl soared through the stars until they reached the supportive stars constellation. There, they found the fading star, its light growing dimmer with each passing moment. With the wise owl's guidance, Rosie discovered that the star was feeling lonely and unappreciated. It longed for the warmth of friendship and the joy of companionship, but it felt as though it was all alone in the vast expanse of the night sky. Determined to help their friend, Rosie and the wise owl gathered the other stars of the constellation and formed a circle around the fading star. They showered it with love and encouragement, reminding it that it was never alone and that its light was valued and cherished by all. Slowly but surely, the fading star began to shine once more, its light growing stronger with each passing moment. And as it twinkled brightly in the sky, the other stars cheered and danced, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. From that day on, the supportive stars constellation shone brighter than ever before, its light a beacon of hope and friendship for all who looked up at the night sky. And Rosie, with her kind heart and unwavering determination, was hailed as a hero of the stars, a shining example of the power of support and friendship. In the vast expanse of the sky, there floated a group of clouds known as the caring clouds. They drifted gracefully above the earth, spreading kindness and compassion wherever they went. One sunny day, as the caring clouds traveled across the sky, they noticed a group of animals gathered in a clearing below, their faces filled with worry. Among them was a young deer named Daisy, her eyes brimming with tears. "What's wrong, little ones?" asked the caring clouds, their voices gentle and soothing. Daisy stepped forward, her voice trembling with emotion. "Our friend, Tommy the turtle, is feeling unwell," she explained. "He's too weak to make it to the pond for water, and we don't know how to help him." The caring clouds nodded understandingly. "We will do everything we can to help Tommy," they promised. With that, the caring clouds gathered together and began to form a thick blanket of mist that gently descended upon the clearing below. The mist enveloped Tommy in a cool, refreshing embrace, soothing his fevered brow and easing his pain. As the mist worked its magic, Tommy's strength began to return, and soon he was able to lift his head and drink from the crystal clear waters of the pond. The animals cheered with joy, grateful for the caring clouds' help. From that day on, the caring clouds watched over the animals of the forest, offering their support and comfort whenever it was needed. They sent gentle rains to nourish the plants and warm sunshine to brighten even the darkest days. But their greatest gift was the sense of kindness and compassion they inspired in the hearts of all who dwelled beneath them. The animals learned that true friendship meant being there for each other, no matter the circumstances, and that together they could overcome any challenge that came their way. And so, as the sun set on another day in the forest, the caring clouds continued on their journey across the sky, their hearts filled with the warmth of friendship and the knowledge that their kindness had made a difference in the lives of those below. In a serene valley nestled between towering mountains and lush forests, there flowed a sparkling waterfall known as Forgiveness Falls. Its waters shimmered with shades of blue and green, and its gentle cascades whispered tales of friendship and forgiveness. One peaceful morning, a young rabbit named Rosie found herself standing before Forgiveness Falls, her heart heavy with guilt. She had accidentally knocked over a beehive while playing with her friends, causing chaos and distress among the bees. As Rosie watched the water cascade down the rocks, she knew she had to make things right. With a determined hop, she made her way to the hive and apologized to the bees for her thoughtless actions. But despite her heartfelt apology, the bees remained angry and refused to forgive her. Rosie's ears drooped with disappointment as she turned away from the hive, feeling hopeless and alone. Just then, she heard a soft voice behind her. It was Benny, a wise old bear who lived in the forest nearby. "Don't give up hope, Rosie," said Benny, his voice gentle and kind. "Forgiveness is not always easy, but with time and patience, wounds can heal and hearts can mend." With Benny's words echoing in her ears, Rosie returned to Forgiveness Falls and sat beside its tranquil waters, her eyes fixed on the shimmering surface. As she sat in quiet contemplation, she felt a gentle breeze brush against her fur, carrying with it the faint hum of wings. She looked up to see the bees hovering nearby, their expressions softening as they watched her. With a hopeful smile, Rosie reached out to the bees and offered them a sweet apology once more. This time, she spoke from the depths of her heart, expressing her regret and asking for their forgiveness. To her surprise, the bees buzzed softly in response and began to gather around her, their anger melting away like dew in the morning sun. They accepted Rosie's apology with open hearts, and together, they forged a new bond built on understanding and forgiveness. From that day on, Forgiveness Falls became a place of healing and reconciliation for all who visited its shores. Rosie learned that forgiveness was not just about saying sorry, but about truly understanding and empathizing with those she had hurt. And as she watched the bees dance in the sunlight, Rosie knew that Forgiveness Falls would always be a reminder of the power of forgiveness and the beauty of second chances. In the heart of a lush forest, there lay a magical grove known as the Grateful Grove. Its trees stood tall and proud, their branches reaching toward the sky as if in gratitude for the blessings they had received. One sunny morning, a young squirrel named Sammy ventured into the Grateful Grove, his eyes wide with wonder. He had heard tales of the grove's enchantment and wanted to see it for himself. As Sammy explored the grove, he came across a wise old oak tree named Oliver, who greeted him with a warm smile. "Welcome to the Grateful Grove, young one," said Oliver, his voice resonating with wisdom. "What brings you here today?" Sammy looked around at the majestic trees and vibrant flowers, his heart filled with awe. "I've heard that this grove is a place of magic and wonder," he said. "I wanted to see it for myself." Oliver nodded knowingly. "Indeed, the Grateful Grove is a special place," he said. "But its true magic lies in the power of gratitude." With that, Oliver gestured toward a nearby tree, its branches heavy with ripe, juicy apples. "This tree is a symbol of gratitude," he explained. "It gives thanks for the sun, the rain, and the earth that nourishes it, and in return, it bears the most delicious fruit." Sammy listened intently, his heart swelling with curiosity. "But how can I be grateful like the trees?" he asked. Oliver smiled kindly. "Gratitude begins with a simple thank you," he said. "When you appreciate the gifts life has given you, you'll find that your heart is full of joy and contentment." With Oliver's guidance, Sammy spent the day exploring the Grateful Grove and giving thanks for the beauty and abundance that surrounded him. He thanked the sun for its warmth, the breeze for its gentle caress, and the flowers for their vibrant colors. As the sun began to set over the horizon, Sammy felt a sense of peace wash over him. He looked around at the trees of the Grateful Grove, their branches swaying gently in the evening breeze, and he knew that he was truly blessed to be a part of such a magical place. And as he bid farewell to the Grateful Grove and its wise inhabitants, Sammy carried with him the lesson of gratitude, knowing that no matter where life took him, he would always have the power to find joy in the simple things and give thanks for the blessings he received. In a lush forest filled with towering trees and chirping birds, there lived a group of animals known as the communicative creatures. They were known far and wide for their exceptional ability to understand one another and work together to overcome any challenge. One sunny day, as the communicative creatures gathered by the edge of a babbling brook, they noticed a family of turtles struggling to cross the rushing water. Among them was a tiny turtle named Timmy, his shell gleaming in the sunlight as he peered nervously at the swirling currents. Without hesitation, the communicative creatures sprang into action. Benny, the bear, used his strength to build a sturdy bridge out of fallen branches, while Lily, the rabbit, hopped back and forth, gathering leaves to cover the rough surface. As the bridge took shape, Timmy hesitated at the water's edge, his fear holding him back from taking the first step. But Rosie the squirrel bounded over to his side, her eyes filled with kindness and encouragement. "Don't worry, Timmy," said Rosie, her voice gentle and reassuring. "We're here to help you cross safely." With Rosie's words echoing in his ears, Timmy took a deep breath and stepped onto the bridge, his heart pounding with excitement. Slowly but surely, he made his way across the babbling brook, his friends cheering him on every step of the way. As Timmy reached the other side, he turned back to look at his friends, his eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, everyone," he said. "I couldn't have done it without you." The communicative creatures smiled warmly, their hearts swelling with pride. For they knew that true communication wasn't just about talking. It was about listening, understanding, and working together to help each other succeed. And from that day on, the communicative creatures continued to use their unique abilities to help those in need, whether it was a lost bird searching for its nest or a tired fox in need of shelter. For they knew that by communicating and cooperating, they could make the forest a better place for all who called it home. And as the sun set over the treetops, casting a golden glow across the forest, the communicative creatures knew that their friendship and teamwork would continue to shine brightly, lighting the way for all who crossed their path. In a colorful meadow filled with flowers of every hue, there bloomed a patch of daisies known as the diverse daisies. Each daisy was unique, with petals of different colors and sizes, but they all lived together in harmony, celebrating their diversity and friendship. One sunny morning, a curious butterfly named Bella fluttered into the meadow, her wings shimmering in the sunlight. She had heard of the diverse daisies and wanted to see them for herself. As Bella landed on a nearby flower, she was greeted by a chorus of cheerful voices. "Welcome, Bella," sang the daisies, their petals dancing in the breeze. "We're so glad you're here." Bella looked around in wonder at the colorful display before her, her heart filled with joy. "I've never seen such beautiful daisies," she exclaimed. "Each one is so unique and special." The daisies smiled proudly, their petals glowing with happiness. "That's because we celebrate our differences," explained Daisy, the leader of the patch. "We believe that diversity makes us stronger and more beautiful." With Daisy's guidance, Bella spent the day exploring the meadow and learning about the different types of daisies that grew there. She met Daisy, whose petals were as white as snow, and Rosie, whose petals were tinged with pink, like the blush of a sunset. But as Bella flew from flower to flower, she noticed a small daisy named Leo sitting alone in a corner of the meadow, his petals drooping with sadness. "What's wrong, Leo?" asked Bella, landing gently beside him. Leo sighed heavily. "I don't feel like I belong here," he confessed. "I'm different from the other daisies, and I'm afraid they won't accept me." Bella listened intently, her heart going out to her new friend. "But Leo," she said gently, That's what makes you special. The diverse daisies celebrate diversity, and you are a part of that diversity. With Bella's encouragement, Leo began to see himself in a new light. He looked around at the other daisies, his heart swelling with gratitude for their acceptance and friendship. And as the sun set over the meadow, casting a warm glow across the flowers, Leo realized that he was exactly where he belonged. For in the patch of diverse daisies, he had found not only acceptance, but also love and friendship that would last a lifetime. In a peaceful valley nestled between rolling hills and babbling brooks, there lay a haven known as Harmony Haven. It was a place where creatures of all kinds lived together in perfect harmony, their hearts united by friendship and love. One sunny day, as the inhabitants of Harmony Haven went about their daily routines, they noticed a new arrival in their midst. It was a young fox named Felix, his fur matted and his eyes filled with uncertainty. Curious, the other animals approached Felix and welcomed him to Harmony Haven with open arms. They offered him food and shelter, and soon Felix began to feel at home among his new friends. As the days turned into weeks, Felix grew to love life in Harmony Haven. He spent his days playing with the rabbits, exploring the forest with the squirrels, and basking in the warm sunlight with the birds. But one day, a dark cloud appeared on the horizon, threatening to disrupt the peace and harmony of Harmony Haven. It was a disagreement between two of the animals, a deer named Daisy and a raccoon named Ricky, over who should have the last apple from the orchard. As tensions rose and tempers flared, Felix felt a pang of sadness in his heart. He had never seen his friends argue like this before, and he feared that their friendship was in jeopardy. Determined to restore harmony to Harmony Haven, Felix set out to find a solution to the problem. He gathered the animals together and reminded them of the importance of friendship and cooperation. We are all different, but together we make Harmony Haven a special place, said Felix, his voice filled with conviction. Let us put aside our differences and work together to find a solution that benefits us all. With Felix's guidance, the animals began to communicate openly and honestly, sharing their thoughts and feelings with one another. They listened with empathy and understanding, and soon a solution emerged that satisfied everyone. As the sun set over Harmony Haven, casting a warm glow across the valley, the animals gathered together in a circle, their hearts united once more. They thanked Felix for his wisdom and leadership, grateful for the lessons he had taught them about the power of friendship and cooperation. And as they settled down to sleep beneath the stars, Felix knew that Harmony Haven would always be a place where love and friendship reigned supreme, a haven of peace and harmony for all who called it home. In a land of rolling hills and lush forests, there existed a magical place called Unity Utopia. It was a haven where creatures of all shapes, sizes, and colors lived together in perfect harmony, bound by the strong ties of friendship and unity. One bright morning, the inhabitants of Unity Utopia gathered in the town square to celebrate the annual Friendship Festival. It was a time for joy and laughter, a time to honor the bonds of friendship that held their community together. As the festivities began, the animals danced and sang, their voices echoing through the trees as they shared stories and laughter. But amidst the merriment, a sense of unease lingered in the air. It seemed that a group of mischievous squirrels had been causing trouble in the forest, stealing food and playing pranks on their fellow creatures. The unity of Unity Utopia was threatened, and the animals knew that something had to be done. Determined to restore peace and harmony to their community, a brave young rabbit named Ruby stepped forward, her eyes shining with determination. "We must come together as one and show these squirrels the true meaning of friendship and unity," declared Ruby, her voice ringing out with confidence. With Ruby's leadership, the animals of Unity Utopia set out to find the mischievous squirrels and bring them back to the town square. They searched high and low, through the forest and across the meadows, until at last they found the squirrels hiding in a secluded grove. But instead of scolding or punishing them, Ruby and the other animals approached the squirrels with kindness and understanding. They listened to their grievances and offered them a place in Unity Utopia, where they could be part of a community that valued friendship and unity above all else. To their surprise, the squirrels accepted their offer with open arms, their hearts softened by the compassion and forgiveness of their fellow creatures. And as they joined the festivities in the town square, the animals of Unity Utopia knew that they had achieved something truly special. A community united in love and friendship, where all were welcome and accepted for who they were. As the sun set over Unity Utopia, casting a warm glow across the land, the animals gathered together in a circle, their hearts overflowing with gratitude and joy. And as they sang and danced beneath the stars, they knew that their unity would always be their greatest strength, a beacon of hope and happiness for all who called Unity Utopia home. In a lively town surrounded by rolling hills, there stood a bustling circus known as the Friendship Circle Circus. It was a magical place where performers of all kinds came together to entertain and delight audiences with their dazzling acts. At the heart of the circus was a group of animals who were the best of friends. There was Benny the bear, known for his strength and bravery, Lily the rabbit, whose agility knew no bounds, and Sammy the elephant, whose gentle nature charmed all who met him. One sunny day, as the circus prepared for its grand performance, a new performer arrived in town. It was a shy giraffe named Grace, her long neck craning nervously as she surveyed the bustling scene before her. Feeling overwhelmed by the hustle and bustle of the circus, Grace stood off to the side, unsure of how to join in the fun. But Benny, Lily, and Sammy noticed her hesitation and knew they had to help. "Come join us, Grace," called out Lily, her ears twitching with excitement. "We're a family here at the Friendship Circle Circus, and we'd love to have you be a part of it." With a hesitant smile, Grace stepped forward, her heart filled with gratitude for the warm welcome. And as she joined Benny, Lily, and Sammy in their preparations for the performance, she felt a sense of belonging she had never known before. As the circus began, the Friendship Circle Circus came alive with the sound of laughter and applause. Lily dazzled the audience with her graceful leaps and spins, while Sammy delighted them with his clever tricks. But as Grace stepped into the spotlight for the first time, her legs trembling with nerves, she feared she wouldn't be able to live up to the expectations of the crowd. But then, she felt a gentle nudge from Benny, a reassuring smile from Lily, and a comforting pat on the back from Sammy. With their encouragement, Grace found the courage to perform, her long neck reaching for the sky as she twirled and danced with grace and elegance. And as the audience erupted into cheers and applause, Grace knew that she had found not only a place in the circus, but also true friends who would always be there to support her. As the curtain fell on the Friendship Circle Circus, the animals gathered together in a circle, their hearts full of gratitude for the friendship and love they shared. And as they looked out at the smiling faces of the audience, they knew that no matter where life took them, they would always have each other and the magic of the Friendship Circle Circus to guide them. In a charming village nestled between emerald hills and winding streams, there lived a group of friends named Mia, Leo, and Ava. They were inseparable, spending their days exploring the lush forests and playing by the bubbling brooks. One sunny afternoon, as Mia, Leo, and Ava sat beneath the shade of a towering oak tree, they stumbled upon a dusty old chest hidden among the roots. With curiosity piqued, they opened the chest to find a treasure trove of colorful beads and sparkling gemstones. Eyes wide with wonder, the friends gathered the beads and gemstones, their imaginations running wild with possibilities. Leo picked up a handful of beads and held them up to the sunlight, marveling at their beauty. "We could make bracelets," he exclaimed, his voice tinged with excitement. Ava clapped her hands in delight. "That's a wonderful idea," she exclaimed. "We could each make a bracelet to remind us of our friendship." With eager hands, Mia, Leo, and Ava set to work, stringing the beads onto thin strands of twine, their laughter filling the air as they worked side by side. They chose beads of every color of the rainbow, each one representing a cherished memory they had shared together. As they finished their bracelets, Mia, Leo, and Ava admired their handiwork, their hearts swelling with pride. "These bracelets will remind us of the bond we share," said Mia, her voice soft but full of emotion. Leo nodded in agreement. "No matter where life takes us, we will always be connected by our friendship," he said. With their bracelets clasped firmly around their wrists, Mia, Leo, and Ava set off on a grand adventure, their spirits soaring with excitement. They explored hidden caves and climbed to the tops of towering mountains, their friendship growing stronger with each passing moment. But as the sun began to set and the shadows lengthened, Mia, Leo, and Ava found themselves lost in the dense forest, their hearts pounding with fear. Just when they feared they would never find their way home, Ava's bracelet began to glow with a soft, golden light, illuminating the path before them. With Ava leading the way, they followed the glowing light through the forest until at last they emerged into the clearing of their village. With a sigh of relief, Mia, Leo, and Ava embraced each other tightly, their bracelets shimmering in the moonlight. "Our friendship has guided us home," said Leo, his voice filled with gratitude. And as they walked hand in hand through the village, Mia, Leo, and Ava knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they would always have each other and the magic of their bracelet bonanza to light the way. Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled among rolling hills, there was a magical place known as the Friendship Garden. It was a place where colorful flowers bloomed, butterflies danced, and laughter filled the air. In this garden, there lived 3 best friends: Lily the rabbit, Max the bear, and Rosie the squirrel. They spent their days playing hide and seek among the flowers, chasing butterflies through the meadows, and sharing secrets under the shade of the old oak tree. One sunny morning, as Lily, Max, and Rosie frolicked in the garden, they stumbled upon a mysterious path hidden behind a tangle of vines. With curious hearts and adventurous spirits, they decided to follow the path and see where it led. As they journeyed deeper into the garden, they encountered all sorts of wonders: a babbling brook lined with pebbles, a grove of cherry trees heavy with ripe fruit, and a field of daisies as far as the eye could see. But just as they were beginning to lose themselves in the beauty of the garden, they heard a faint cry for help echoing through the trees. Without hesitation, Lily, Max, and Rosie followed the sound until they came upon a small bird trapped in a thicket of thorns. With gentle hands and kind hearts, they worked together to free the bird from its tangled prison. And as it soared into the sky with a joyful chirp, Lily, Max, and Rosie knew they had made a new friend. Grateful for their help, the bird led them deeper into the garden, where they stumbled upon a hidden glen filled with sparkling waterfalls and colorful blooms. It was a place of wonder and magic, where the air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers and the sound of laughter echoed through the trees. As they explored the glen, Lily, Max, and Rosie realized that true friendship was not just about having fun and going on adventures. It was about helping those in need, sharing moments of joy and laughter, and always being there for each other, no matter what. And as they made their way back home to the Friendship Garden, their hearts overflowing with love and gratitude, Lily, Max, and Rosie knew that their friendship was the greatest adventure of all. For in the Garden of Friendship, they had found a bond that would last a lifetime. A bond as strong and beautiful as the flowers that bloomed there. In a quaint village nestled between 2 hills, there lay a serene river flowing gently beneath the warm sun. On one side of the river lived a group of animals, while on the other side lived a colony of birds. They were neighbors, but had never truly connected until one day, the river that separated them began to overflow its banks. As the water rose, the animals and birds realized they needed to come together to find a solution. They gathered at the river's edge, discussing how they could bridge the gap and help each other. Felix the fox suggested building a bridge to connect their 2 communities. "If we work together, we can create a bridge of bonds," he declared. The animals and birds agreed and set to work gathering materials for the bridge. They collected sturdy branches, colorful feathers, and soft leaves, weaving them together to create a beautiful bridge that stretched across the river. As they worked side by side, the animals and birds began to talk and share stories. They discovered they had more in common than they realized and found joy in each other's company. Once the bridge was complete, the animals and birds crossed over to the other side, exploring each other's homes and learning about their different ways of life. They laughed and played together, forming new friendships and bonds that would last a lifetime. But their newfound unity was put to the test when a fierce storm swept through the village, threatening to destroy the bridge they had worked so hard to build. As the wind howled and the rain poured down, the animals and birds rushed to reinforce the bridge, bracing it against the powerful currents of the river. With their combined strength and determination, they were able to withstand the storm, saving the bridge from destruction. As the sun rose the next morning, casting a golden glow over the village, the animals and birds gathered on the bridge, grateful for the bonds of friendship they had formed. They realized that the bridge was more than just a physical connection. It was a symbol of their unity and cooperation, a testament to the power of coming together in times of need. And as they looked out at the river flowing beneath them, they knew that as long as they stood united, they could overcome any obstacle that came their way. For they had built not just a bridge of wood and leaves, but a bridge of bonds that would carry them through any storm. Once upon a time, in a vibrant meadow where wildflowers danced in the breeze and butterflies fluttered among the trees, there lived a group of animal friends. Sammy, the squirrel, Bella, the bunny, and Tommy, the turtle. They were inseparable, spending their days playing games and going on adventures together. One sunny morning, as they lounged beneath the shade of their favorite oak tree, Sammy suggested they embark on a friendship fun journey. "Let's explore the meadow and see what wonders we can find," he exclaimed, his eyes shining with excitement. Bella and Tommy eagerly agreed, and so they set off on their journey, their hearts filled with anticipation and joy. Along the way, they encountered all sorts of marvels. A sparkling stream where fish leaped joyfully, a field of daisies swaying in the gentle breeze, and a majestic oak tree that reached for the sky. As they journeyed deeper into the meadow, they stumbled upon a hidden glade filled with colorful balloons and ribbons fluttering in the wind. "What a magical place!" exclaimed Bella, her eyes wide with wonder. But their joy was short-lived when they noticed a group of animals huddled in the corner of the glade, their faces filled with sadness. "What's wrong?" asked Tommy, his voice filled with concern. The animals explained that they had been planning a celebration, but had run out of balloons and ribbons. Without them, their party would be ruined, and they feared they would disappoint their friends. Without hesitation, Sammy, Bella, and Tommy sprang into action, gathering balloons and ribbons from the surrounding trees and bushes. With laughter and teamwork, they decorated the glade until it sparkled like a rainbow. As the animals watched in amazement, Sammy, Bella, and Tommy smiled proudly, their hearts filled with happiness. "Now your celebration can go on," exclaimed Bella, her eyes shining with joy. The animals hugged their new friends tightly, grateful for their kindness and generosity. And as the party began, the meadow echoed with laughter and music, the animals dancing and playing with abandon. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the meadow, Sammy, Bella, and Tommy knew that their friendship fun journey had been a success. For they had not only discovered new wonders, but also learned the true meaning of friendship, sharing joy, spreading kindness, and making memories that would last a lifetime. Once upon a time, in a lush, green valley, there stood a magnificent garden filled with the most beautiful flowers imaginable. Each flower had its unique color, shape, and fragrance, making the garden a breathtaking sight to behold. In this garden, there lived 3 best friends: Lily, the lavender, Rose, the rose, and Daisy, the daisy. They grew up side by side, sharing their hopes, dreams, and secrets under the warm sun. One bright morning, as they danced in the gentle breeze, they noticed a tiny bud nestled among the petals of a nearby tulip. The bud looked sad and lonely, its colors muted and its petals drooping. Concerned for their fellow flower, Lily, Rose, and Daisy approached the tulip and asked what was wrong. The tulip explained that it felt out of place among the other flowers, its colors too dull and its petals too plain. With empathy and kindness, Lily, Rose, and Daisy reassured the tulip that it was just as beautiful and special as any other flower in the garden. They encouraged it to embrace its uniqueness and celebrate its own beauty. Inspired by their words, the tulip began to bloom, its colors vibrant and its petals standing tall. As it blossomed, it brought a new sense of joy and wonder to the garden, its beauty shining bright for all to see. But their friendship was put to the test when a fierce storm swept through the valley, threatening to destroy the garden and everything in it. As the wind howled and the rain poured down, Lily, Rose, Daisy, and the tulip huddled together, their petals trembling with fear. But through their courage and determination, they stood strong against the storm, supporting each other and weathering the chaos together. When the storm finally passed and the sun emerged from behind the clouds, the garden was left battered but not broken. And amidst the ruins, Lily, Rose, Daisy, and the tulip stood tall, their friendship stronger than ever before. As they looked out at the garden, now bathed in the golden light of the sun, Lily, Rose, Daisy, and the tulip knew that their bonds were like the roots that anchored them to the earth, strong, resilient, and unbreakable. And as they danced in the warm breeze, their petals shimmering with newfound strength and beauty, they knew that together they could overcome any challenge and weather any storm. For in the garden of friendship, their bonds would always blossom and thrive, filling the world with love, joy, and endless possibilities. Once upon a time, in a vibrant forest filled with towering trees and babbling brooks, there lived 3 inseparable friends: Milo, the monkey, Lily, the lion cub, and Benny, the bear cub. They spent their days exploring the forest, chasing fireflies, and playing hide and seek among the trees. One sunny morning, as they frolicked in a meadow filled with wildflowers, Milo suggested they embark on a grand adventure along the Together Forever trail. It's said that whoever travels this trail together will be friends forever, Milo exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Lily and Benny eagerly agreed, and so they set off on their journey, their hearts filled with anticipation and joy. Along the trail, they encountered all sorts of wonders: a sparkling waterfall where colorful birds bathed, a grove of cherry trees heavy with ripe fruit, and a field of sunflowers swaying in the breeze. As they journeyed deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon a steep hill that blocked their path. "How will we ever climb this hill?" asked Lily, her voice tinged with worry. But Milo smiled reassuringly. "Together, we can do anything," he said, his voice filled with confidence. With their spirits lifted, Milo, Lily, and Benny worked together to climb the hill, encouraging each other every step of the way. And when they reached the top, they were rewarded with a breathtaking view of the forest stretching out before them, bathed in the warm glow of the afternoon sun. But their journey was not without challenges. Along the way, they encountered a raging river that blocked their path, and a dense thicket of thorns that seemed impossible to navigate. But through their friendship and teamwork, they were able to overcome every obstacle, helping each other and supporting each other every step of the way. As they reached the end of the Together Forever trail, Milo, Lily, and Benny looked out at the forest, their hearts filled with gratitude and joy. For they knew that no matter where life took them, they would always have each other and the memories of their grand adventure along the Together Forever trail. And as they hugged each other tightly, they made a vow to always stand by each other's side, to laugh together, to cry together, and to journey through life together, forever and always. For in the forest of friendship, their bonds were stronger than any obstacle, and their love was as enduring as the trees that stood tall around them. In a quiet corner of a bustling city, there lay a serene park known as Patience Park. Its winding paths were lined with towering trees and colorful flowers, and its tranquil ponds shimmered in the sunlight, offering a peaceful retreat from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. One sunny afternoon, a group of friends gathered in Patience Park for a picnic. Among them were Lily the rabbit, Max the bear, and Rosie the squirrel, each eager to spend the day playing and exploring. As they settled down on a patch of soft grass, Max's eyes lit up with excitement. "Let's play a game of tag," he exclaimed, his voice booming with enthusiasm. But before Max could take off running, Lily held up a paw. "Wait, Max," she said gently. "Let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty of Patience Park and enjoy each other's company." Max's shoulders slumped in disappointment, but he nodded in agreement. "You're right, Lily," he said. "Sometimes it's important to slow down and enjoy the moment." And so, the friends spent the afternoon strolling through Patience Park, admiring the colorful flowers and listening to the birdsong. They sat by the edge of the pond, watching as the fish darted gracefully through the water, and laughed as a family of ducks waddled by in a neat row. As the sun began to set and the shadows lengthened, Max's patience began to wear thin. "I'm bored," he grumbled, his voice tinged with frustration. "I want to play a game." But Lily and Rosie exchanged a knowing glance. "Patience, Max," said Rosie, her voice calm and soothing. "Good things come to those who wait." Max sighed deeply and settled back against the grass, his eyes fixed on the sky above. And as he watched the clouds drift lazily overhead, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. He realized that sometimes the most beautiful moments were the ones that unfolded slowly, like a flower blooming in the sunlight. And so, as the stars began to twinkle in the evening sky, Max learned the valuable lesson of patience. He realized that true friendship meant being willing to wait for the right moment, even when it seemed like time was standing still. And as he bid farewell to Patience Park and its serene beauty, Max knew that he would always carry the memory of that peaceful afternoon in his heart, a reminder that sometimes the greatest adventures were the ones that took time to unfold. In a vibrant meadow nestled between rolling hills and babbling brooks, there flourished a garden known as the Generous Gardens. Its flowers bloomed in a kaleidoscope of colors, and its fruits and vegetables grew plentifully, offering nourishment to all who visited. One sunny morning, a curious bunny named Benny hopped into the Generous Gardens, his nose twitching with excitement. He had heard tales of the garden's bounty and wanted to see it for himself. As Benny explored the garden, he came across a wise old sunflower named Sophia, who greeted him with a warm smile. "Welcome to the Generous Gardens, young one," said Sophia, her petals glowing with kindness. "What brings you here today?" Benny looked around at the colorful blooms and ripe fruits, his eyes wide with wonder. "I've heard that this garden is a place of abundance and generosity," he said. "I wanted to see it for myself." Sophia nodded knowingly. "Indeed, the Generous Gardens is a special place," she said. "But its true magic lies in the power of generosity." With that, Sophia gestured toward a row of tomato plants, their branches heavy with plump, red fruit. "These plants are a symbol of generosity," she explained. "They give freely of their bounty, sharing their fruits with all who visit the garden." Benny listened intently, his heart swelling with curiosity. "But how can I be generous like the plants?" he asked. Sophia smiled kindly. "Generosity begins with a simple act of kindness," she said. "When you share what you have with others, you'll find that your heart is full of joy and abundance." With Sophia's guidance, Benny spent the day exploring the Generous Gardens and sharing its bounty with those in need. He picked ripe strawberries for the birds, plucked fresh vegetables for the rabbits, and gathered fragrant flowers for the bees. As the sun began to set over the horizon, Benny felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He looked around at the plants of the Generous Gardens, their leaves rustling gently in the evening breeze, and he knew that he was truly blessed to be a part of such a magical place. And as he bid farewell to the Generous Gardens and its wise inhabitants, Benny carried with him the lesson of generosity, knowing that no matter where life took him, he would always have the power to share his abundance with others and spread joy and kindness wherever he went. Once upon a time, in a charming coastal town, there stood a majestic lighthouse known as the Loyalty Lighthouse. Its towering frame stretched high into the sky, guiding ships safely to shore with its bright beacon of light. At the heart of the Loyalty Lighthouse lived a faithful seagull named Gus. He had been the guardian of the lighthouse for as long as anyone could remember, his wings strong and his heart steadfast. One stormy night, as the waves crashed against the rocks and the wind howled through the air, Gus noticed a tiny boat struggling to stay afloat in the raging sea. Inside the boat was a young dolphin named Dolly, her eyes wide with fear as she fought against the powerful currents. Without hesitation, Gus spread his wings and soared into the storm, his heart filled with determination to save his friend. He swooped down toward the water and grasped Dolly's fin in his beak, guiding her safely to the shore. As they reached the safety of the shore, Dolly collapsed on the sand, her body trembling with exhaustion. But Gus remained by her side, his eyes filled with concern and compassion. "Thank you, Gus," gasped Dolly, her voice weak but grateful. "You saved my life." Gus nodded solemnly. "It was my pleasure, Dolly," he said. "True loyalty means standing by your friends, even in the face of danger." From that day on, Gus and Dolly became inseparable friends, their bond stronger than ever. They spent their days exploring the coastline and playing in the surf, their laughter echoing across the waves. But as the years passed, the Loyalty Lighthouse began to show signs of age, its once bright light growing dim and its beams flickering with uncertainty. The townsfolk worried that soon the lighthouse would no longer be able to guide ships safely to shore. Determined to save their beloved lighthouse, Gus and Dolly rallied the other animals of the sea, from the wise old turtles to the playful seals, and together they worked tirelessly to repair the aging structure. Through long days and sleepless nights, they patched up the cracks in the walls, replaced the broken glass in the lantern, and polished the brass until it shone like gold. And when they were finished, the Loyalty Lighthouse stood tall and proud once more, its light blazing brightly across the sea. As the ships returned safely to port, the townsfolk cheered and applauded, grateful for the loyalty and dedication of their animal friends. And high above them, perched on the highest tower of the Loyalty Lighthouse, stood Gus and Dolly, their hearts filled with pride and joy. For they knew that true loyalty was more than just a word. It was a beacon of hope that guided them through even the darkest of storms. And as long as they stood together, they knew that their friendship would shine as brightly as the light of the Loyalty Lighthouse for all to see.